Now on Sunrise and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, the man accused of murdering Edna cheerleader Elizabeth Medina will be arraigned in court later this week. Plus, the court hearing for 4 former Industrial ISD students is set for Thursday morning. And a unanimous decision from the Supreme Court will allow former President Trump to remain on the ballot.
We've got a couple more warm and humid days are coming our way, but we got a cold front coming on Friday. We'll take a look at that in the weather coming up.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain.
And I'm Parker Cox.
And today it's the 5th day of March 2024. The time is now 6:32 on our Tuesday morning, and today it's National Open Data Day.
Open Data Day.
Yeah, that's right. Have you ever done a public records request, Parker?
I mean, for like kind of basic records and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, the open data, that means like being...
data that's open to the public, but that you may have to request from the custodian of the data.
Okay, yeah.
So there's a lot of data that's actually public in the state of Texas, including school directories.
That's true. I was going to say all that governmental data is really important. Kind of need to know, kind of need to be transparent with that stuff, don't they?
It's very important.
Very important to our country.
Well, Parker, it is not looking very clear to any of us outside.
No, it is actually looking, I was going to say transparent, but...
The data is a bit clouded.
Yeah, in fact, yeah, clouded. Well, I guess it's because the clouds are on the ground. That's exactly what you're seeing here. If you're tuning in with us this morning, you're seeing that fog. In fact, it looks a little bit thicker than it did just the last half hour ago because you're looking out east right along the loop. Actually, I don't know if you can kind of see the loop right there, right where the bridge is, right on the eastern side of Victoria. But not too bad of a morning. All of us experiencing the mid 60s out there, 65 here in Victoria, but with that dew point 1 degree off, got that 97% humidity. Now that computer said 0 miles, but I might agree with this one, maybe a quarter mile or a half mile. But like I said, all of us are experiencing at least a little bit of some shape or form of fog this morning. So please be careful on the roads. But the good news is with that fog, it'll be out of our area by right around 9 to 10 this morning. But we got some more coming our way overnight tonight. Really going to pick up after midnight, and it's probably going to be even thicker than this morning. But we'll look at that tomorrow morning. But looking at your weather headlines, more foggy mornings, like I said, coming our way. But we also got some more warm and humid days coming as well, all ahead of that cold front arriving on Friday. We could maybe even see some thunderstorms. But looking right now, all the temperatures, I don't know what is going on in Wharton. I need to talk to them and get that fixed. This is not 38 degrees up there. All of us about in the 60s. Carolyn's laughing. It's not 30 degrees. We're not chilly. It's very warm, but we're going to be very warm today, getting to the upper 80s. Out in the west, y'all might hit near 90. But if you don't like that warmth, we got a cold front coming on Friday, and we'll take a look at that in just a few more moments. Back to Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. The man accused of murdering Edna cheerleader Elizabeth Medina will be arraigned in court Thursday morning. A Jackson County grand jury indicted 23-year-old Rafael Romero last month. He's accused of intentionally causing the death of Medina while in the course of committing or attempting to commit burglary, robbery, and/or aggravated sexual assault. The indictment accuses Romero of causing Medina's head to strike a firm surface. It accuses him of striking her head with a hard object and repeatedly stabbing or cutting her with a sharp object or edged weapon. Romero had overstayed a work visa. He was arrested 5 days after the teen was found dead in her apartment. The court hearing for 4 former Industrial ISD students set for Thursday morning. At that time, the court is expected to push the case to the next court date. Colin Stumfel, Zachary Cultures, Christopher McCrory, and Braxton Warren face charges related to an incident of assault that took place on a bus last April. The 4 teens stand accused of assaulting a fellow student while returning from a road game. Port Lavaca firefighters worked the scene of a structure fire Monday morning. It was at 613 Brook Hollow Drive. The fire was mainly in the back patio, but flames went up into the attic. There was damage in both areas. No one was hurt, and the cause is still under investigation. A unanimous decision from the Supreme Court will allow the former president, Donald Trump, to remain on the ballot in Colorado. The court ruled Monday that states cannot kick Trump off the ballot for his actions leading up to the January 6th attack on the Capitol. The decision reverses the Colorado Supreme Court, which determined that Trump could not serve again as president under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. The Supreme Supreme Court's ruling makes it clear that Congress, not states, has to set rules on how that provision is enforced, meaning the decision applies to all states, not just Colorado. And that leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. We ask you, do you agree with the Supreme Court's ruling on Trump's ballot eligibility? Okay, let's take a look. 80% of you say yes, you do, and 20% of you say no. Thank you for taking part in our viewer poll. An unlikely figure weighing in on the economy, it's Cookie Monster, and there's a reaction to the message he posted online about what's happening to his cookies.
The Cookie Monster has had enough.
Chocolate chip cookie important to me too.
His beef with shrinkflation is getting attention on Capitol Hill after he posted, "Me hate shrinkflation. Me cookies are getting smaller." Senator Sherrod Brown responded, "Me too, Cookie Monster. People in my state of Ohio are fed up. They should get all the cookie they pay for." Shrinkflation is when companies make the size of their products smaller without cutting prices. A report from Pennsylvania Senator Bob Casey found the size of some Oreo cookies has decreased by 6% since 2019. A family size of Wheat Thins has dropped 12% in weight.
Try new Charmin Mega Roll. It's 4 times the sheets in one.
And some Charmin toilet paper rolls now have 20 fewer sheets. President Biden recently took aim at shrinkflation, calling it a ripoff.
Give me a break. The American public is tired of being played for suckers.
Last week, Senator Casey introduced a bill that would give the FTC and state attorneys general authority to crack down on shrinkflation. But many Republicans dismissed that idea.
It's a tactic that fits well with the president's previous attempts to blame price gouging for higher prices. But these arguments are political spin and not serious explanations.
Even though inflation is down considerably from 2 years ago, a report on prices released last month was worse than expected, fueling new worries on Wall Street. Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
Address inflation during his State of the Union address Thursday night. The University of Maryland has suspended fraternities and sororities on campus from recruitment activities pending an investigation of suspected misconduct. Those allegations have been described as, quote, activities that have threatened the safety and well-being of members of the university community. The Greek houses included in the suspension are currently barred from having any contact to new or prospective members and may not host any events where alcohol is present. We should note this moratorium does not impact any of the historically Black Greek letter organizations or the Multicultural Council organizations. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time is now 6:39 on our Tuesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. The Texas primary election is upon us.
It's Super Tuesday and 15 states are holding their primaries. I'm Mike Ajachi reporting in Washington. Coming up, will Nikki Haley have a path forward after today?
And also coming up after the break, we'll take a look at your school bus forecast, followed by your weather and health forecast. And later on Sunrise, take another look at that cold front that's coming our way on Friday. Well, good morning, Crossroads. If you're all tuning in with us this morning, you're looking live in Cuero. Look at that fog really starting to settle in. You can really start seeing it now with that sun coming up in the sky. Maybe now y'all are believing what I'm talking about. Look at all that fog out there this morning. Not too bad up by Cuero, but along the coast, y'all are much worse this morning. 68 degrees up there right now in Cuero, but with that dew point matching that temperature, you got 100% humidity. It looks like the wind's just shifted to calm, so not too bad of a morning out there. But if you can handle the fog that's out there this morning. But the kiddos don't have to worry about that fog. Getting on that school bus is going to be about 69 with some clouds in the area and that patchy fog still hanging around. But today we're going to be warming up quite nicely to the upper 80s this afternoon. Warm and humid day coming our way. And with that warm and humid weather today, we do have some tree pollen going to be high today. Air quality is going to be moderate with particulate matter 2.5 microns, but grass pollen is moderate as well, and the UV is high with the sunny skies. Mostly sunny skies today. Warm today, but if you don't like that warmth, we're going to be cooling down this weekend, and we'll take a look at that in just a few moments. Back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. Now on to Super Tuesday. 15 states holding their Republican presidential primaries today, with Donald Trump inching closer to his third Republican nomination. This as the Supreme Court unanimously rules in the former president's favor.
On this Super Tuesday, Donald Trump appears to be on the verge of clinching the Republican presidential nomination for a third time.
We could very well win every state in record numbers.
Trump leading Nikki Haley by at least 37 points in each of the 15 states holding primaries Tuesday. In a new interview with hard-right online broadcaster RSBN, Trump looking ahead to general election issues, including security on the southern border.
People are coming from parts unknown, countries that you've never heard of, languages that nobody in this country speaks.
At a rally in Texas Monday night, Haley insisting she's the only Republican who can beat President Biden.
How much more losing do we have to do before we realize maybe Donald Trump is the problem?
Voters across the political spectrum attending Haley's event Monday night, unified in their stance against Trump.
When it comes down to Trump, I'm never voting for him.
I think that a lot of people here are just simply wanting something that's more moderate.
As of now, it remains unclear what Haley will do next. She has no public events scheduled for today and is expected to watch tonight's results privately at home. The primaries come after the Supreme Court unanimously ruled that individual states cannot ban Trump from the presidential ballot. Courts in 3 states, Colorado, Illinois, and Maine, had ruled Trump should be banned because of his actions surrounding the January 6th Capitol riot, citing the 14th Amendment, which says no one who has taken an oath to support the Constitution and then engaged in insurrection can hold public office afterwards. The court did not address the issue of whether Trump engaged in insurrection. President Biden's campaign manager paying little attention to the Supreme Court ruling, telling MSNBC, "Our focus since day one of launching this campaign has been to beat Donald Trump at the ballot box." Next up for Trump at the Supreme Court, argument next month on whether he's immune from criminal prosecution in the January 6th election interference case. Ike Ajachi, ABC News, Washington.
The Texas primary election is upon us. We spoke with UHV political science professor Woodrow Wilson Wagner II. He says the current climate can be polarizing for voters.
My sense is that the negative campaigning, specifically in the District 30 House race in Texas, has really turned people off. And there are people that don't even want to go to their mailbox anymore. They don't want to see any more flyers. They don't want to turn on the local TV station because there's another ad. They're just ready for it to be over. And in terms of how that affects their vote, I think most people still vote for their interest, what a candidate is for, rather than what they're against.
And you can vote today from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. There are 26 polling centers available in Victoria County, and if a runoff election is necessary, it would take place on Tuesday, May 28th. The time is now 6:46 on our Tuesday morning. Still to come, JetBlue announced it will no longer seek a merger with Spirit Airlines.
Well, good morning, Crossroads. Well, it really feels like springtime is upon us. With all the warm and humid conditions sticking around with us, we've got a cold front coming our way on Friday, but that actually leads us to today's weather poll. Today's weather poll asks, have you sowed any new plants with that spring weather upon us? Let's look what y'all are saying. Looks like about a third of y'all, 30% of you say yes. 47% of you say no, you haven't. 23% of you say I plan to, and I'm going to actually agree with y'all on that. I'm going to plan to this weekend, and none of y'all say you have new indoor plants. But to vote on today's weather poll and future weather polls, go to crossroadstoday.com/vote-weather to participate and see what everybody else says as well. Now, looking at yesterday, we got a high of 82 degrees. Started at about 67 in the morning. Not too bad, actually. Kind of nice day yesterday, but we're going to have an even warmer day today, getting up to the upper 80s here. But a little bit further west you go, you could hit near 90 this afternoon. We're actually approaching our record high temperature. Our record high is 89 for today, but they're going to be very humid with that warmth today. Look at your dew points, still near 70 this morning, but they're going to drop back to the 50s just for today because we're going to have a real light west-northwest wind today. But then coming our way on Friday, that cold front arrives on Friday afternoon, probably right between 3 to 6. You can see here that dry mass coming through us, giving us a good shot and maybe some thunderstorms on Friday. Looking at the thunderstorms right now all up in the northeast Texas, the Arklaw, Texas area, they have a thunderstorm area up there, but we could maybe see some rain coming on Friday with those temperatures cooling as well. And we'll take a look at that more in just a few more moments. Back to Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. And we want to invite y'all to predict the awards for the Oscars today. I've gone to crossroadstoday.com/predict, and you can sign in and you can predict those Oscar award winners. And the top 3 winners will receive a $50 gift card to Dick's Food Store. And the Oscars pre-show is right here on KVU TV Sunday. JetBlue has announced it will no longer seek a merger with low-cost carrier Spirit Airlines. A federal judge blocked the proposed merger in January after the Justice Department sued to stop the merger, alleging it would drive up fares for some of the most price-sensitive consumers. The airlines did file an appeal, but JetBlue noted the appeal was a requirement of the merger agreement. JetBlue's proposed $3.8 billion purchase of Spirit would have created the country's 5th largest airline. Bitcoin hit a new record high Monday. The digital currency was trading at $68,791. That is $2 more than its previous record, which was reached in November 2021. Bitcoin's rally over the past several months has been propelled by U.S. regulators approving exchange-traded funds that are pegged to the digital asset. Bitcoin's ETFs launched in January created an on-ramp for more traditional investors, according to CoinMarketCap. Bitcoin is up more than 200% over the past year, and it counts for more than half of all cryptocurrency in circulation. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. A school bus crash in West Virginia has left several people injured and the bus driver under arrest. A school bus crash in West Virginia has left several people injured and the bus driver under arrest. Officials in Calhoun County, West Virginia say the activity bus was leaving the school when it ran off and then struck a culvert, which caused the bus to tip over. 2 of the injured had to be medevaced from the scene. West Virginia State Police say the bus driver has been arrested for driving under the influence and child neglect. A small plane crashed on Nashville's Interstate 40 on Monday night, leaving several people dead and forced the roadway to close. According to authorities, the plane reported engine failure before it crashed on the interstate shortly before 8 p.m. The plane landed in a grassy median just along the interstate behind a store. The aircraft did not hit any buildings or vehicles as it crashed. Interstate 40 eastbound has been shut down due to the wreckage, and lane closures and delays are expected to last throughout this morning. It is not known how many people were on board the plane. An investigation is underway. A new report found that China, Russia, Iran, and Cuba all tried to meddle in the 2022 U.S. midterm elections. The intelligence community assessed with high confidence that China tried to influence a handful of midterm races involving members of both U.S. political parties. Russia sought to denigrate the Democratic Party before the midterm elections, and Iran's influence sought to exploit perceived social divisions and undermined confidence in U.S. democratic institutions, while it found Cuba engaged in more narrow efforts to support or undermine specific candidates. This video out of Arizona showing emergency crews rescue a woman who fell 15 feet down a dry well. They brought her back up after being stuck in the hole for up to 7 hours. She reportedly had a cell phone with her and called for help Monday morning. She was taken to a trauma center for evaluation. Officials say it's unclear why she was in the area. And here are some of the top races getting voters to the polls. Incumbent District 27 Congressman Michael Cloud faces 3 opponents: Chris Mapp, Luis Espindola, and Scott Vandell. In the Democratic primary, you have Tanya Lloyd and Anthony Tristan. Texas House of Representatives for District 30 has 4 Republican candidates: Brett Baldwin, Jeff Bachnight, Vanessa Hicks Callaway, and AJ Louderback. Another big race on the ballot is the race for Victoria County Sheriff. Incumbent Sheriff Justin Marr faces Melissa Rendon-Wasachek. Polls open at 7 a.m. in just 2 minutes today, and they close at 7 p.m. 5,816 people showed up in Victoria County to vote early. That's 10.4% of the 56,141 registered voters. Victoria City Council meets tonight at 5 p.m. On the agenda is the approval of an application to FEMA's 2023 assistance to firefighters grant to fund a vehicle exhaust removal system. That's for station number 4, estimated to cost $52,207, as well as the renewal of the city manager and city attorney employment agreements. To learn more, visit the city's website at victoriatx.gov. The U.S. Supreme Court temporarily halted a new state law on Monday evening, allowing Texas police to arrest people suspected of crossing the Texas-Mexico border illegally from going into effect. You can read this story on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And we want to invite you to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. And now we have time for one final check of our foggy weather with Parker.
Yes, Carolina, you would be correct. In fact, folks, I'm not just showing you a white screen. I'm showing you Port Lavaca, where look at that terrible fog that they're experiencing this morning. Anywhere along the coast is experiencing that bad fog, but not too bad in the background, about 68 degrees this morning, but humidity is taking over the morning today. But right now, looking at the visibilities, all of us are guaranteed to see at least a little bit of fog this morning before it starts clearing up right around 8 to 9, maybe even by 10 a.m. While along the coast, along the water, that fog is going to stay all day today. Right now, all of us right now in the mid-60s, along the coast, y'all are in the 70s, but today we're going to be warming up nicely today to the upper 80s, while the west side could hit near 90 today. And with those warm temperatures and humid values still in the area, we could have heat indices near 90
So extra hairspray if we want that hold.
Yeah. If you don't like that warmth, we got a cold front coming on Friday. Just stay tuned.
So it's driving me nuts, Parker.
Oh, we're almost there.
All right, well, thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful Super Tuesday. Remember to follow us on YouTube. Join us tonight for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10.